Ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin'? It's your boy Sim, and I'm here with Tony Crow. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm still a little bit stuttering because we just listened to King's Disease 3. And let me just say, this joint is pure heat from the beginning to the end. 17 tracks of straight heat, ladies and gentlemen. That's the bottom line. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, you need to listen to it as soon as possible. I know it's 1:09 in the morning, and you're probably like, yo, I can't do it now. I got to go to work in the morning. But on your way to work, if you got an hour-long drive to work, you got to pop that joint in. It's 53 minutes long, and from the time the album starts to the time the album ends, it's heat. I wasn't sure if Nas could surpass King's Disease 2 or Magic. You know what I mean? Because the expectations were high, very high. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, he surpassed them. And Nas tells you that right in the first track of the album, Ghetto Reporter said KD3 is going to smash them all. And, he went berserk on this joint, man. And people are going to think, obviously we're Nas fans, so people are going to be like, yeah, of course y'all are saying that. Da. Just listen to it, man. He went crazy. I mean, throughout the whole thing, I'm sitting here looking at my screen like, what the hell am I listening to right now? Like, what is happening? Like, what's going on right now? You know what I'm saying? Hitboy went in on the beats like crazy. Oh, my gosh. And that's all you got to do. If you can go in on the beats with Nas, you already know what Nas can deliver. You know what I'm saying? And Hitboy just went in on these beats. Crazy beats. Like, the instrumentation crazy. The samples crazy. We're going to go down the line and talk about each one of the songs. What I do remember of that song. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, I got to go a little bit more in depth, but
I ain't gonna lie, Sam. Probably 1 through 4, 1 through 5 might be a blur. Like, it might be a blur. Like, right. That's how in sync all those records were. And this is not saying that, you know what I mean? Until they change the pace, which is still dope, you know what I mean? But them first, 3 or 4 recorurs, I probably couldn't tell you which one was which. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Ghetto Reporter, I remember it. I'm gonna have to go off the track name, I guess.
Yeah, I can remember. Like, just from I seen stuff on Twitter, with some of the lyrics. So I don't remember a whole lot of just straight up the lyrics because it's the first listen. Mm-hmm. I tell you this, and maybe it's because we've heard the production between Hitboy and Nas for 3 albums now. But normally, when I throw in a Nas album, like, I've got to get used to the beat a little bit or something. I didn't feel like that with any of the tracks. I didn't feel like I had to get used to anything. You know what I'm saying?
And the beat switches.
The beat switches
was phenomenal. Like,
and I didn't feel like any of the songs had to grow on me. You know what I'm saying? Like that happens to me a lot with Nas. It happened to me like that with Pac too, right? I'm like, okay, the song probably has to grow on me. And sometimes those songs that have to grow on me become my favorite songs. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like any of them had to grow on me. I'm like, right from the tip, these joints is hot.
And neither one of us can pick a favorite song or first listen. And usually I could be like 3, 7, and 9. Those are my 3. Like, it's out of those 2.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what it's out of. Like, I'm gonna probably name 15 songs if I tell you what it's out of.
Yeah.
And shout out to the chat and Your Blackest Time. Mike H. Disappointed.
I don't know what he's disappointed in.
Mike, if you're still here, tell us why, please.
Bro,
tell us how.
I think he's disappointed because he doesn't have a streaming service to listen to this to the album.
Or he thought we were gonna play the album.
Oh, maybe so. Nah, he just said Nas is the GOAT, but Hitboy dropped the ball. Yeah, you bugging. You're bugging. Come on, Mike. ain't no way Hitboy dropped the ball on this album.
Tell us why, because I will say this isn't typical Hitboy production, and I don't mean that in a bad way. So even the other King's Disease, I think Hitboy was expanded his element. I think he went to another level on this one. Another level. And I think it was by request. Because and if it wasn't, they synergy, you know what I mean, is bananas.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Me personally, Mike, I'm not trying to come at you, man. You know what I'm saying? But personally, it's hard for me to see how someone could say Hitboy dropped the ball on this, because from every beat for every song I thought was fire. Every beat for every song.
Some songs had 3 beats in them. and it was all fire.
Yeah, this solutions. I agree. I think this is a classic Nas joint. You know what I mean? It's too early for me to say where it jumps. Where it lands within his.
I haven't felt this way listening to an album since Illmatic, and that's like same type of vibes that Illmatic gave me. That's how I felt tonight listening to it.
Yeah. Let's go down the track list and talk about each song. Let's start with Ghetto Reporter. Right? And it's going to be very hard to, break down each beat, because we've got to listen to it a few times. We will do a full review. Remember, this is an initial review of the album, how we initially feel about it. All right? So Ghetto Reporter. Tone, what was your thoughts? And like you said, the first 4 songs, we were both kind of in a daze a little bit, trying to figure out what was happening. You know what I mean? So they're kind of a blur, maybe. But I think I remember some stuff.
First 5, like I'm gonna listen to you, but first 5 songs, like I remember the references or some references in each one to like determine the difference in the song, but those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first 5 up from Ghetto Reporter to 30. Like if I'm just doing an initial grade, those are 10s for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm a backtrack from that. So like when we do the
Ghetto Reporter is kind of like that intro. It remind me a little bit of the Stillmatic intro, a little bit. Not really in style, but just he just comes on, boom, and he's killing it. You know what I'm saying? And this is where, and the beat is crazy. Right off the jump. And then, he's and this is where he says, KD3 is gonna smash them all. It is hard. As we got farther along in the album, we were able to calm down a little bit. The endorphins weren't shooting to our brains so much. You know what I mean? And we was able to cue in on some of the songs. Legit, that joint, the first thing that jumped off for me with Legit is that they sampled the 5 Heartbeats.
Yes.
Right? So they did the little, they had Eddie K singing in the beginning, you know what I mean? And then they sampled that joint. And that's my favorite part of the movie. Every single time I watch the movie, I rewind that part 3 or 4 times. Every single time I watch that movie. You know what I mean? So for my favorite artist, because that's one of my favorite parts of a movie of all time. I just love that part. I love the singing in that part. And so for my favorite artist to sample that right there, you know what I mean? That song had me from the beginning. You know what I mean? I don't even fully remember what the song was about. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to comprehend what was going on. I don't even fully remember what the song was about.
Yeah, and let me see who said it, because I agree. Here we go, right here. Mr. G, shout out to Hitboy for a job well done. King Nas has done it again, and this album is instant classic material. I agree, but I really agree with shout out to Hitboy because I think I don't know, it's something about, like I said, them first 5, the production.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
Now, Hitboy definitely. I mean, he did his thing with the production on the album. There's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like because his production, because there's so much heat on the production side, it forced Nas to have to go up another level. You know what I'm saying? Just forced him to have to go up another level. I don't know if I want to say another level, but force Nas to be sharp, make sure
He's
it's
on his A game.
Yeah, he's on his A game. Let's say that, because I don't know if you go up another level, but he was definitely on his A game. But you also heard him do some things that you haven't heard from Nas.
Switching up the flow a little bit.
Switching up the flow a little bit. Not necessarily on the song, but throughout the album, and we'll talk about some of those songs. Switching up the flow a little bit. Using different tones to his voice.
Mm-hmm.
He just did some things that you haven't heard. You never heard Nas do.
Well, I think we've heard a little bit of it. It's just been sporadic.
True.
You know what I mean? It's been like throughout his career.
Right.
Not so much in one project.
One project.
And to be honest, some of the times he's done it before, even though I like those records, he didn't sound as clean as he does on these records.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost like he mastered it. Like he reached another level, like perfected it.
Yeah. Michael and Quincy, is definitely a lot of people who speculated about the album, say, hey, Michael and Quincy has to be about Nas and Hitboy, and it was about Nas and Hitboy. Again, super dope track. I can't even remember the beat right now, but it's definitely a dope track. When you guys hear it, you'll know. I skipped over Thun.
Thun was fire too.
Yeah.
But 30, I kind of remember. Like,
yeah. Woo-hoo. Yeah. And obviously 30, like a lot of people speculated, was like another 27 summers, but now you're at 30 summers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. He was talking his talk on that one.
Yeah.
You know
no doubt about it. And then Hood to Hood is kind of where he gets a little bit more introspective, starts going introspective. And what I like that Nas is doing today is all of his introspective songs don't always have an introspective pace, right? Or beat. You know what I'm saying? But it's still kind of introspective. You know what I'm saying? So, he's talking about, obviously, his hoods in New York City, but but shouts out hoods and all over the city, right? And then at the end, all over the country. At the end, he's naming, DC, Baltimore, blase. Say they got guns, they got guns, they got guns. You know what I'm saying? But he's not saying it as if they'll kill you, but spreading that message. You know what I'm saying about in Nas's way. In a slick way, about gun violence, blah, blah, blah.
And basically ends up saying, like, put the guns down.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Initially, it'll get you thinking, like, oh yeah, they got, like you said, they got guns.
Right.
If you listen to the message.
But if you listen to it, and that's something that Nas, see, one of the criticisms that Nas used to get is that his music was boring. Right? And people didn't want to just hear the message when he was spreading it. And what he's been able to do lately is sprinkle the message in through maybe sometimes something that's faster paced, or something that's really, really catchy. What him and Hitboy has been able to do. And sometimes he does have an introspective sounding beat. But he's been able to sprinkle it in through something that still catches you. You know what I mean? And makes you want to bop your head. It makes you like, yeah, that's that joint right there. You know what I'm saying? He's learned. He's he's definitely an artist who's taken all of the lumps and criticisms that people have said back in the day and said, okay, this is what people hear. This is what I'm doing. Maybe he listened to it himself and said, yeah, I can see what people are talking about, and is working to continuously perfect his craft. You know what I mean? And a lot of that came out on this album. It's like they took every single album that they had that they made together and they said, okay, you know what? Maybe this was a little bit of fat. We could trim this. This is a little bit of fat. We can trim this. And then they put it in here. And, you know, you got what you got here. Everyone's not going to like every single song that listens to this album, but I think majority of people is going to like most of this album.
You know what else I love? He didn't leave you wanting more after any record. You know what I mean? Like other records, it'd be like, oh, why he have a second verse, yo? Or,
right.
Yo, why he do this? Like it was a seamless transition from record to record, and you was full after each one. You know what I mean? Like you wasn't looking for no more. Like, oh man, why didn't he just keep going? Why didn't he do another verse? Why he ain't put this guy on it? No features. You know what I mean?
Yo,
no features.
Yeah. No, I was gonna save that till we finish the whole thing, but it's cool. No features on the album. Still, we'll talk about it at the end. No features. I mean, he just went straight for self. You know what I mean? Straight for self. Recession Proof. You know, that was the track where I said the beat reminded me of like an EPMD beat from back in the day. You know what I mean? It really gave me that kind of a feel. That I mean, I really, really, really like that beat. I'm sure there's people in the chat that know exactly what I'm talking about. It just gave me.
That's the sample, right? That's the one with the sample.
What sample?
What? Oh, you said what's
Recession
you said? Recession Proof.
Recession Proof.
I'm bad.
You know what I'm saying? That, you know, Recession Proof. It just gives me that type of heavy bass line groove that you would hear from, you know, the Eric Sermon, the type of things he used to make with EPMD. You know what I mean? In the song, from what I got, I believe it's just really about, you know, being recession proof. You know, having enough money, you know, that I can make it through. And I got to listen to it deeper to see if maybe it's even about other people that's, you know, handling your money so you can be recession proof. You know, Reminisce, straight off the bat. You see, it goes. He jumps back to a Mary J. Blige sample, right? But it's not just Mary J. Blige singing; they slowed it down. You know what I mean? And I feel like, for me, I guess, and it's hard for me to say, but the next three songs, Reminisce, Serious Interlude, and I'm on Fire, I feel like that's my favorite 3-song run on the album from my first listen. I've only listened to this one time. All right. I've only listened to it one time, but I feel like that's my favorite 3-run album. I mean, 3-run, I don't want to say it. 3-song run.
I hear what you're saying. I mean? That's tough.
You know,
that's tough. We're gonna have to revisit this one.
We're gonna have to. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
We're gonna have to revisit it. You know, I'm trying to. I was thinking about what Reminisce was about when I was listening to it, but then, you know, I should have wrote it down. But by the time I got to the end of the album, you know, I kind of forgot. It's not really about reminiscing to the past. I gotta listen to it again.
It's the opposite. He don't like to reminisce.
Yeah,
it's about moving forward.
Yeah. You know, Serious Interlude is, you know, kind of I don't want to say it's a lady joint, but it is talking to ladies in a Nas kind of way. Real cool, real smooth track. And what's crazy is I thought it was an interlude, right? So when I did my breakdown of the thing, remember I said it's 15 tracks, 1 interlude, and a bonus track. You know what I'm saying? But nah, Serious Interlude is a full song. 3 minutes. 3 minutes and whatever seconds. I'm on Fire. Like, like I said, those three, boom, 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 I felt was the best 3-song run on the album. It might change later on. You know what I'm saying? I guess that was one song where I had to, but I quickly did it. The hook of, whoever's saying I'm on fire, I was kind of like, okay, let me hear that. But I'm not saying it wasn't dope. I just had to catch it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it from the jump, but once it went into the verse, like the verse after it, then it made it even better to me. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah. Shit, this shit is hot.
WTF, SMH, what the fuck, shake my head. What he did there by using social media acronyms, to get across what he wanted to say. And this song really kind of spoke to rappers of today, kind of. You know what I'm saying? When you really get into it, especially as it goes on into, later in the verse, spoke to rappers of the day. And I believe there's a crazy beat switch in this one too. Right? It's a crazy beat switch in that joint.
Yeah,
and I got vibes of like K Solo on this track, just with the way he was spelling things out. And I guess he wasn't spelling it out; he was just saying the acronyms. But it still gave me vibes of K Solo the way he was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Was that was pretty dope. And then you have Once a Man, Twice a Child, and what that saying is right there, once a man, twice a child, and you can hear it in this song right here. He talks about it throughout the entire song. That saying is, you're a child, and then you grow up, and then as you get old, you become a child again. You know what I'm saying? And throughout the song, he's talking about things that he could do when he was younger, or what he was like when he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And then what he's like now. You know what I'm saying? And basically, in the end, he kind of gives you the message, take advantage of your youth because you're going to get old. Basically, that's the message of the song. Take advantage of it now. Do the things you got to do now because you're going to get older. You know what I mean?
I need to listen to this one again for sure because the only thing I remember is that second verse. Like he went crazy on that second verse. So now I'm like, I don't even remember the first because he was saying some stuff on there.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, or anybody else, and later on, if you listen to this later on and you put something in the comment section, I feel like this is the first song of an older rapper, right now is like 48, 49 years old, who really does talk about the vulnerability of getting older. Right? Other artists, they talk about being older and they talk about, the money they've made, the decisions they can make now, you know what I'm saying, and other things that they've acquired because they're older. And, and Nas has spoke about those things too, right? And spoke about the difference in mindset. But I haven't heard an artist speak about, I'm older now, I'm a little bit more vulnerable to things. You know what I'm saying? And you heard him say, in the hook, it's like, what did he say? He said something like, take advantage now because you could become invalid or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I've ever heard an artist, a rapper, an older rapper, say that or say anything that really talks about being vulnerable, because of your age. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm 46 years old. I talk to my dad, I'm like, yo, Dad, every day I feel like I got another pain somewhere. Like, what's going on? Why, my arms start hurting, my legs start aching. You know what I mean? And for someone like my age, our age, those vulnerabilities start to creep into your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Do they? Shit, that's a whole nother front stoop episode.
A whole nother joint. Yeah, no doubt. Whole nother joint. And then Get Light. That joint comes on with a, just a dope hip hop feel.
I love
right?
that song too.
Dope hip hop feel. Boom, you bouncing. I don't even remember what the song is about. I ain't even gonna front to you. I don't remember what it's about. I really got to sit with it and hear it again. But then it smooths out. It's smooths out, and it comes back with that dope, that crazy hip hop feel.
Mm-hmm.
I got to sit with it to understand or know what he's talking about in that song. If you do know, you know what I mean, drop it in there. Serious.
So
Lee said, and let me get this up here so everybody can see it. You know what I mean? He said, Serious, Interlude, and Reminisce were his highlights. Not too many rappers can maintain that level of soul and present it with a modern context. Exactly. You know what I mean? Lee, that's what I was telling Tony. For me, Reminisce started what I think is the best 3-song run on the album. You know what I mean? And that's Reminisce, Serious, Interlude, and I'm on Fire. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people who have other, their 3-song runs or whatever. And somebody said, Mike 8 said he's 47. He's on the back 9. I mean, come on, man. I guess that's halfway on it. Yeah, I guess that's half. Come on, you don't got to say it like that, though. but that's the vulnerability Nas was saying on that song, right? Kind of hitting that vulnerability. Yeah, Mike, you're right. You're right. You're definitely right. First time.
So this is where I could start. I could start like actually telling you what I liked about the song and this and that.
Damn, all the way down here.
I was still in awe and shock and like
me too.
I mean, just bugging out off the moment of the records.
I'm not gonna lie, me too.
So me too. We got to the end. I'm like, all right. First time, basically, this is dope. First time, when was the first time you heard Nas song and he, naming a bunch of scenarios and, talk about the first time he heard Big or Pac.
Right.
And it's just another clever record to kind of.
Right. And when you look at some of these songs, I gotta analyze it a little bit more. But some of them play off of other songs from KD3.
Mm-hmm.
Like this First Time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It plays off of moments from KD2. Yep.
First time you heard a Nas song.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it plays off of that. And and then there you go, Nas kind of talking about, First Time.
It's funny. It's funny that you even say that because I want to look into this as well because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a theme in that.
Yeah.
And when I was sitting here saying I can't find nothing bad to say about the album, like I think this has a lot of 10s. And I don't think there's anything that's gonna be lower than an 8, but I can't even think of what's the 8 right now. But what I was gonna say, if I had to say anything negative, I didn't think it was a direct theme off of. Like we could speculate the themes of the King's Disease within 1 and 2, which I know we're probably gonna get into next week or whatever.
When we hit that real deep review, yeah.
But off the jump, I couldn't really figure it out, other than a few mentions of actual King's Disease in the few of the records.
Besides maybe Ghetto Reporter, I think he mentioned it there.
Yeah. I
think there's another song where he says something about King. Yeah, he says something about King's Disease.
There's another one as well. But what you just said, maybe there's something in there where it's connecting another way as well.
Right. You know, because like 30 obviously connects with 27 Summers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is, yeah. So maybe that is the actual boom. You know what I mean?
You know, and you know, you look at WTF SMH, right?
Yeah.
What he have on the last album, YKTV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Songs about different things, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, but you know that you make the connection there a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and my man Kavase, he said, "Damn, he did it again. I haven't heard it yet." Kavase, he did it again, bro.
Yeah.
He did it again.
Smashing all of them.
I ain't even gonna say nothing, but I mean, I am gonna say something. That's why I'm on here. But he did it again, and he tells you in the first song, you know, he talks about the speculation of KD, you know, King's Disease 2, and Magic, and he tells you KD3 is smashing all of them. He says it right from the beginning. From the first song, he raises your expectation level, and then he reaches it. They reach it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a tough one. And then Beef. So in Beef, he does he speaks to you from the perspective of beef. You know what I'm saying? You know, beef as far as like, I got beef with you. You know what I mean? And that's what the song. So he's telling the story from the perspective of Beef.
Like Beef is the person.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, almost like he did with I Gave You Power.
Gave You Power. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, that was definitely dope. You know what I mean? And then Don't Shoot is one that was
I love this too.
I love it. But it was way outside of what Nas normally does with the way he flows and raps and things, right? It was way outside of what he normally does. And you hear a lot of flows on here that is not your typical Nas, but it's still dope. It's just not your typical Nas with some of the flows that you hear on here. Don't Shoot is one of them.
Talking to the youth.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't remember everything that was in there. But, you know, there was some messages behind Don't Shoot.
I don't know why I wasn't taking notes.
Yeah, me either. You know what? The first listen, I didn't want to have to take notes. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to listen to it and rock with it and give you my true initial reaction. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, we can give the more calculated version of our review later on. You know what I mean? But this is just the initial reaction to it and how we feel about it. So, you know, don't kill us if we're not crazy in depth with every verse and line and all that kind of stuff, because we just listened to it just like you did. You know, and then Til My Last Breath was different. You know, that's, you know, it's a bonus track. But first of all, the beat was, I don't want to get canceled, but the beat was retarded. Yo, the beat was crazy.
That's the one with the trumpets?
That's the one with the trumpets.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
that beat was crazy.
If his pops was part of that one.
Yeah. Ralph Unreal said, "Flow, what you mean? Don't scare me, Sim. Don't worry. Like, he just does some different things with the way that he's flowing, but it's dope and it works. And most of the album, 90% of the album, he's doing Nas. But there are times when he flips some things around and does some other stuff, and you're like, oh snap, I never heard Nas do that. You know what I'm saying? And the way that he does some of the hooks, a lot of it is within the hooks. You know what I mean? But it's dope. Trust me, it's dope. It's real dope. You know, I think there was a on Don't Shoot, if I remember correctly, Don't Shoot had a crazy beat switch where, you know, he was just, you know, like rapping over, just like rapping over sounds, and he started like really killing it. And I was like, oh man. You know what I mean? But Til My Last Breath was, you know, it's kind of about he's gonna be rapping till his last breath. Like dedicated to this game. I believe that's the one.
Is that the one with the kids in the background? The whole song.
Is it? I don't know. The only thing I think this is the one though. You know, he kept mentioning the Nets. I was a little bit like, come on, man.
Oh
Why you
yeah,
do
every
that?
time you said that, I was saying Knicks, so it didn't matter.
You know, he kept mentioning the Nets. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
I guess
definitely.
I guess that would be my only downfall on the album.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hear. I
I'm
heard
just
Knicks.
joking on that, but you know, he was like, and he kept hitting it with the Nets and the Mets and the Jets.
I heard Knicks. I don't know.
Right.
I didn't hear
He
that.
did mention Knicks in one of the songs. I forgot which one it was. Maybe it was one of the between Reminisce. Maybe it was Serious Interlude. You know, it said something about being at the Garden, or maybe it was WTF. I don't know. I forgot. But he said something about being at the Garden, but he don't being at the Garden, but he doesn't sit courtside because he don't want to sit next to somebody's wife that he hit, you know, something like that. You know what I mean?
You know, I know those problems.
Yo. But, and then, you know, we'll get back to it. No features. As a matter of fact, I don't even hear Hitboy's little thing in there. Well, now that I think back to it.
No, I heard it.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, I don't remember hearing it. I had to look.
His
look
little like his little intro thing.
Yeah, you know, Hitboy's.
Yeah.
You know what he normally
his
does.
Drop or whatever.
Yeah, his drop.
Yeah,
I don't remember hearing it.
I heard it. It's not on every song, but I heard it.
Okay, I just don't remember hearing it. But no features. This is the first time that I remember that Nas does not have a feature. Now on one of the joints, I think it's Serious Interlude. There is somebody singing, but I think that is that a sample. I know on Reminisce that's Mary J. Blige, but there's a guy singing on Serious Interlude. I think. Is that a sample?
The one with the girl. Because there's a part with the girl singing, but she's also singing. Like she sings like for like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
Like,
right.
Somebody sings for like. That was a girl. Or I mean, that was a dude.
There was one where a girl was singing behind him a little bit. I don't remember what song it is. I know people are probably looking like, yo, man, y'all don't even know the album. But like I said, this is our initial thoughts on it. So,
but that don't matter. It's like it don't matter. First album, no famous guest appearances.
Yeah, I mean,
crown the best lyricist. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the thing is, there's basically no appearances on this album at all.
But I mean, who?
Even on AZ was the only
right?
one. Yeah, AZ. I mean, I think Pete Rock did the hook on The World Is Yours.
As the Q-tip.
You know what I mean? But I don't think it was like a straight out feature like that. But no features on the album at all. It has to be the first time that Nas did an album with no features. You have the Lost Tapes, right? But I'm talking like straight up studio album that he went in and recorded. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, I'm not disappointed either, because there's enough flavor within this album that it doesn't get boring, that it's only Nas. A lot of times people put features on because it's like, well, people don't want to hear only me throughout the entire album. You know what I'm saying? But there's so much flavor on here. There's so many things that you're going to be able to pull out.
And no record felt short. No record felt like, yo, I needed more. You know what I mean? Like, this is
This is. I mean, I'm one of those people that say
you can't give it a classic.
You can't give it a classic on the first night. I'm one of those people because you gotta sit to it and listen. Like feel it. But I feel like this already jumped into maybe Nas's top. I don't even want to say it yet, but
it's crazy.
I don't even know. I don't even want to say it yet, man.
It's crazy, Sim. He could have literally made 2 more songs and said, yo, KD3, KD4, boom.
He said, right. Exactly.
He could have gave you 2 more songs.
2 more songs,
and
split them up
into 2 albums.
Bang. You know what I mean? Could have.
Without a doubt. 11, 11, 12, 12.
Right.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? So right now, this is something that here's one of the lyrics that a lot of people are pulling out really quick because it mentions Hove. He says, no beef or rivals. They playing ether on title. Brothers can do anything when they decide to. In a Range Rover, dissecting bars from Takeover. Sometimes I text Hover like, nigga, this ain't over. I wonder what Hove's going to, I mean, obviously Hove has mentioned, the beef before too. Matter of fact, this might be the first time in a song after they've, patched things up that he's mentioned the beef like this. As far as like in this kind of context, you know what I mean? I mean, Jay's done it a couple of times, where he's just mentioned it in maybe a humorous context or something like that. That's something that, I forgot. I don't even remember which track that joint is on. Maybe it's on 30. I don't know. Might be on 30.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If he was gonna do a remix, and matter of fact, don't even answer this now. We can answer it. You know what I mean, when we do the full breakdown. But if he was gonna do a remix, we're gonna say what artist and what song. We don't even gotta answer it now though. We'll answer that.
Yeah. Because I need to study it a little bit. The album, because there's a whole lot to unpack with this album, I think.
Actually, I might even scratch that question, to be honest. Like, now that I'm thinking about, because if none of these songs need any, they don't need anything. You know what I mean?
I know, man.
So a remix is literally gonna be a whole new record.
Right. So Mike H, he's talking about his Nas' top 5. He has Illmatic, It Was Written, KD2, Stillmatic, and Magic. So just from your initial listen, and I remember last year with the initial listen of KD2, you automatically was like, yo, I think this is better than the original King's Disease. You know what I'm saying? Is this better than KD2 and Magic for you? Just off your initial listen.
Off initial listen, I think so. I think it's smashing it. I really do.
I do too.
Hitboy was on some like another level on this track. I mean on this record. And like I keep referencing, the first 5, and then Sims talk about the best 3 run. So there's 2 songs in between where I'm stuck on that first 5 and his top 3 as far as in a row. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I think in between, I think Hitboy was on his regular Hitboy, but the majority of this, I think he was in some whole new bag that we didn't see in KD2, and we didn't see in KD1. Right. Now, and that's not taking anything away from those albums.
Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna hold back because I want to listen to him. I want to listen to him side by side. I want to listen to KD2 and then listen to this, but I need to listen to this a bunch of times, right? And then I can listen to him side by side. But initially, just off the listen, I feel like it's better just off the listen. But now I need to listen to them both.
I'll explain it simple. I can't figure out what song is my favorite. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't even narrow it down if I wanted to at this point. And then there's not one song that I know I'm gonna skip. There's not one song I'm iffy about. Like you said, usually there's a song you like, it might grow on you. you don't have that
right
so far.
nah I
You know
feel
what I
you
mean?
I feel you
So those two factors, and then the same thing with there's usually at least one beat that I feel like has to grow on me. It may not be the record, but there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like I can't find my three least favorite or my top three off jump. That's
right
crazy to me.
let me ask you, right, is it because you feel like all the songs are even, and is it because you feel like they're first of all, they had to be at a certain level, right? I'm assuming that you feel like they're at that level, and then because I don't know which one is my favorite either. I think and so I guess that does speak to the strength of the album, that all the songs are so good that it's hard to choose because they're so good. Does anything reach the level of Store Run on here? Because like that's one of the Store Run moments. Nobody featuring Lauryn Hill. Some of the really big standouts.
That's a good
On
question. So
KD2.
you're saying do these records reach the standouts of the other
Yeah.
of the
Are there any
albums?
songs that are as good as Store Run or Nobody or Moments?
You, that's a great question. Like, cause I don't want to answer that yet. I think that's another one we got to revisit, and I'm only saying that because I don't want to pick one song right now that's better, and then feel like, oh, how did I pick that? You know what I mean? How did I pick that song?
Right.
But I think that's a great thing to revisit. Because I can't really pick a standout.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great, you know what I mean? Like
I mean,
if it
because
that's a
there's
great way to.
definitely some soulful tracks on here. Definitely some soulful tracks. And
Mm,
here's something that I like about the album. Nas could have stayed. He could have found the formula of, say, Ghetto Reporter, right, or Reminisce, or even Serious Interlude, and just stuck with that formula throughout the album, and everybody would be like, "Yo, this is dope. This is dope," right? But he pushed the limits. Still pushed the limits. He wasn't afraid to push the limits, even if it's like, yo, people might not like that I'm rapping like this for these couple of bars, or like this or doing the hook like this. You know what I'm saying? He pushed the limits. He's pushing the limits. He could have settled in and did something from what I'm listening to and from what I see with Nas and Hitboy. They could have settled in and said, if we use this formula, we can't miss. They could have did that. You know what I'm saying? And produced a bunch of store runs. You know what I'm saying? Or
30. If I have to pick, I'm
you know,
picking 30.
as your favorite.
No, if I, like as like as up to par with Storm.
Up to
You know what I
par.
mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying. That's right.
You know what I mean? If I had to pick one right now, I'm going 30.
Yeah. You know, so that's something that I'm like, yeah, that's dope. That they continued to push the limits.
Yeah.
Continue to push the limits. It's a dope album, man.
You said something interesting off air.
What was
That
that?
they need to stop now.
That right, because
here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Stop the series.
Stop the series, okay? Yeah, stop the King's Disease series. Let it sit.
Yeah.
Let it sit.
Yeah.
Let it
Let's
sit.
do you know what I mean? Come up with a new concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't try to top King's Disease.
Right. Right.
3.
Nah, I'm with that. Come up with something new.
Magic 2.
Magic 2. Magic 2. Magic 2. Yeah, right. Right. All right, I have another question. First let me comment on that. Yeah. The reason why I said that is because I want it to live. I don't want the freshness of what they're doing to wear off. And now all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, we've heard it now. You know what I'm saying? We've heard it before. So I don't want it to reach that point where they can't go to any higher limits, or any, they can't reach any higher. And that's again, that goes back to what I like that they did on this album. They didn't stop trying to reach higher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They continued to say, let's innovate. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue to be creative. And I like that. I just don't want us to get so used to being able to hear them, it becomes now, we heard it before.
You know, if I give just a little bit of pushback, some of the greatest series went on to like 8.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
7.
But sometimes with those,
I mean, now granted, they weren't hit after hit after
right,
after hit.
right.
But the fact that people get to now really debate, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that Carter 5 or what, you know what I mean? Like they get to have that debate. Nah, 3 was better. I think that's also a great way that it still continues that conversation.
Yeah.
But I feel what you're saying.
Like when you look at the Rocky movies, right? It went from Rocky to Creed now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But there was a couple in there that was like, all right. It was cool. I watched it because it was Rocky, but it was cool. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3. You know what I mean?
I think Rocky's a bad example because I think almost I don't it might be one bad one.
Rocky 4, but
aliens or you know what I mean, like the Michael Myers, like those Scream 4. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the first few movies, like, yo, them joints dope, and then all of a sudden, they can't reach that plateau. I mean, like, you look at Rocky 4, the one where they had the fake Don King dude in there and all that. That one was kind of corny, in my opinion.
I don't know.
I like Rocky. I'm a Rocky fan, and I watched that even when it's on.
4 is Ivan Drago, right?
It's 4. Yeah, no, Rocky 5. Yeah, after Ivan Drago, Rocky 5, where Rocky is like really down and out, kind of broke.
That's Tommy Guns.
Tommy Guns.
I like Rocky.
I thought the acting in that one was corny. I thought they went,
you know, what it was
popish
that I liked
with it
about
or something.
I like the storyline. I thought the storyline was great.
It was.
You know what I mean? You go from being top of the world to rock bottom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like last we saw, he was in the big house, like the big mansion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And then we see the start of the movie. He back in where he was in
Philly.
Rocky 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's back in the hood.
Right. But see, I thought that the acting was. I thought the storyline was good. I thought the acting was like popish a little. I didn't think it was as good. It didn't feel as real as the other Rockies. You know what I mean? And then when they Rocky Balboa, and then they went on to the Creeds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
But
don't oversaturate.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be oversaturated. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, maybe they should just. But if they got that chemistry, Michael and Quincy,
would you rather KD4 or Magic 2?
I mean, when you listen to a lot of this, it's almost like Magic.
Sounds like Magic, right?
It's almost like Magic. It really is.
And that's another reason why I feel like it's better, because I felt like Magic, he stepped up from KD2, and this is definitely more reminiscent of Magic to me than the KD. Like again,
so it's like an extension of Magic. It is. It's like an extension of Magic. I don't know. Let me ask you this. Does he and Nas and Hitboy's, they've dropped 4 albums now. All of them dope. Does it take away the need to get a Nas and Premier? Or we've been wanting a Nas and Premier album for so long, but now we hear this chemistry, and now I'm like,
I think it does.
Can Nas and Premier produce this kind of chemistry?
I think it does because it has now there's a standard. There's a standard you have to reach.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's a standard you have to reach.
Right.
Like it's one thing for Nas. Like this was a big question mark, a big concern to some big Nas fans, but for like hip hop community more so than just the Nas fans, because Nas fans is rocking with Nas.
Right.
But coming off the Ye experience, which personally I love that album too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it wasn't maybe mixed or something to the best, but
yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still love the album. But I think people were worried about Nas and Hitboy.
Yeah.
Coming into King's Disease 1, like, oh, you couldn't get it done with Ye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now they got this standard. I'd rather see an EP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Give me 3 tracks, give me 4 tracks, and that'll build the buzz enough to know
if
where you could go with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which if people like, oh, those 2 are dope, this one, the other 2, you know what I mean? Now you know where to go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel that.
Do it with an EP first.
Yeah. Marlon Varnell said off the first listen, Nas, Hitboy, KD3, straight fire. But it's too early to say it's better than KD2 and definitely Magic. Nas has been the GOAT. I feel you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I know off my first listen with KD2, I thought it was hot, but I needed to listen to it a little bit more. On my first listen here, I'm like, oh, snap. And maybe it's because I was a little bit skeptical if they could continue to produce at this level. So now when I'm hearing it, I'm like, damn, they really did do that. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
But
we were skeptical going from 2 to 1 because 1 was so good.
Right.
And I got to go back to that thing. When you said there was no adjusting to, I don't like this song, but it might grow on me. There was none of that. Like there was no beat for me that I was like, I like the record. I like what Nas is saying. I don't really like the beat. Like it was none of that for me. Like so, off jump, I think they both stepped it up.
Yeah. I definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't know, man. If for me now, I'm kind of like, I don't even know if we need a Nas and Primo joint. And I think somewhere in there, I seen someone saying on Twitter, maybe it was mentioned somewhere in the album. I got to listen, but I don't know if I need it. I'd much rather hear Nas and AZ produced by Hitboy. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather hear something like that. I would like to see Nas go on and do some, first of all, I'd like to see him remain with doing one producer albums. If he's going to do something with Hitboy, again, cool. You know what I mean? But stay with a one producer album. I like what he's doing there. Or have someone, if he's going to use different producers, have Hitboy or whatever be the executive producer. That way he can still use his ear to figure out what's going to fit together well. You know what I mean? But I'd like to see Nas do something with AZ. I'd like to see another Firm album. You know what I mean?
Firm produced by Hitboy?
I wouldn't mind to be a Firm produced by Hitboy. You know what I'm saying? In collaboration with Dr. Dre. And the reason why I say it, because I feel like right now you can get the type of Firm album we wanted back then. Back then, one, they were caught up in the whole 80s sample hype. trying to make the firm, be a super group that sold multi-million records
Bad
and all of
boyish.
that, bad boyish type of thing, and then you had, stuff going on with Dre and creative differences and control and all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't organized well. I feel like right now with Nas and Foxy and AZ and Cormega, you can get a real dope firm album. Like a real dope firm album. I would love to see them do a firm album right now. I think that'd be crazy. Mike 8 said they didn't let Dre produce the whole thing, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With some, creative differences. I think Trackmasters got in there somewhere or something. I don't know. But
that blame Steve Stout.
Yeah, But I think right now, if they could get, first of all, they're all a little bit wiser as far as the business sense of it all, right? So now they know how to, hey, let's get this business stuff out the way. Boom, we got that done. Papers signed, contract signed, whatever we got to do. Now, let's go put this thing together. And I think they could. I think they could do a dope album. I would love to see a firm album. Again, you know what I mean? I don't know. What do you want to see Nas do next?
I wouldn't mind the firm. I think Nas AZ, I would prefer even more than just the firm. I also wouldn't mind a new Queensbridge album. Kind of reach back and see who's hot in the neighborhood. Youngins get bring back some old heads. I mean that with all respect, but his peers, the Havocs and the Megas, and I think that would be a good reach back for him and kind of see what's going on in his hood. I know he's in tune, you know what I mean? I know he and whenever he ain't, Jungle is. So so they know who out there, but that would be dope. That would be dope. A new Queensbridge album would be fire. What else? I mean,
Chat.
right about now, I think we do need to sit with this though. I would not. I would not mind not hearing from like a new record talks for till summertime, basically.
Right.
The summer release would be nice.
Mess around and they drop something on Christmas Eve. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, hold up. We had this joint for a month. What y'all doing?
Chat. Alchemist, Mike H said that would be fire too.
Yeah. Chat. I want to know what where you'd like to go. I mean, I know this album just came out. You know what I mean, and we're all gonna sit with it and listen to it sometime next week. Hopefully, we can. We'll do a full album review. And when we say full album review, if you haven't done a full album review with us before, we actually play a little snippet of the song and then talk about it in depth. After we've had time to really listen to it. So make sure you join us for that. Mega BKNY say, I'm surprised Jay didn't drop anything yet.
He did. You just gotta search it. It's not in the algorithms.
I want to know, what do you guys want to see next from Nas? I mean, obviously this just came out, so we're not trying to rush him into anything. Everybody needs time to sit with this and listen to it a few times. But I want to know what you want to see next. I mean, I'm actually about to run out to the store just so I can listen to it in the car. I ain't even front when I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can listen to it in the car. And I can ride with it a little bit.
Just gave me an idea, but the only thing open is McDonald's, and I don't need that right now.
Yeah, I'm going straight to Wawa. Wawa's is open. But ladies and gentlemen, man, yeah, Nas, you know what you're gonna see tomorrow. Can't believe Nas, at this age I've seen it already. At his age is doing what he's doing. One of the best 4 album runs in history, and boom, 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 and I think he deserves all of that. I guess I'll ask the question for the chat and for everybody else. Is this and I think we can do an entire show on this, and I think it'll be good to do an entire show on this. Is this the best trilogy in hip hop history?
I don't even know what other trilogies are there.
I mean, listen, Jay got like 2 trilogies, right? You got Jay got the in my lifetime trilogies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Of the volume 1, 2, 3. He got the Blueprint trilogy, right? I mean, it's the Blueprint trilogy to me they're not even close. I don't even think they're close, in my opinion. Lil Wayne, I mean, his joints is more than a trilogy, though.
It surpassed,
right? It's surpassed the trilogy.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know what I'm saying?
It's tough because I don't want to have recency bias, right? But at the same time, I don't want to look at what the records did and was at the time either.
Right.
Because when you go back to them J albums, you know what I mean? Me even being the biggest Nas fan, you know, I was tight out there dancing to his records.
right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. Like, it's hard to not have recency bias, and it's also hard not to say, well, these records at that time period, what they were. You know what I mean, and the impact they were, and so it's but that's a great question.
Yeah, we'll have to really look at some of the greatest trilogies in history and probably go back and listen to them all again. You know what I mean, and then really compare them. You know, Ralph Unreal said the Blueprint is classic. I mean, Blueprint 1, in my opinion, is I wasn't crazy about Blueprint 2 or 3.
Yeah, I will say that. They regressed.
Yeah, exactly.
KD's got better as they went on.
Right.
So far, on first listen.
on first listen, right. You know what I mean? So now let me ask you this though. Where does you got KD 1, 2, 3? Where does Magic fit in the I mean, still, because my question then was like, okay, what is Magic? Is it just an album? Like, what is it? The first time I listened to it, I thought it was like a Lost Tapes. Then something came out later on and said, no, this is all new music. I kind of feel like they had this album. Now that I listen to it, and like we said, it's very similar to Magic. I feel like maybe they created all this music at the same time, and they said, okay, we're going to take these out. This is going to be King's Disease 3. Let's perfect these. And then we can put this out as a little, something to tide people over.
Something to feed the buzz.
Right. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Hold them over. Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like they got to work on KD3 and he realized he was in rare form. And he was like, yo,
let's keep going.
Let's put this out, but we gotta keep going. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mike H. And I guess this is his order of this 4 album run. He has KD2, Magic, KD1, KD3. Where just from off, and this is off the first listen, where do you rank these 4?
I have it actually opposite. I mean, opposite of how they came out.
Okay, so you have KD3, Magic, KD2, KD1.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think that's where I'm at right now too. I think that's what the only thing with Magic for me, I felt like KD2 was a complete, well-rounded album.
That's fair.
I'm not sure that Magic, felt as well rounded to me as
That's
KD2.
very fair. The way you say it felt like lost tapes. It felt like a mixtape to me, like mixtape era.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like so that's fair. That could give it an edge,
right? So I go back and forth all the time between KD2 and Magic because of that. And I'm always just like, it doesn't feel like a full, like, real album where KD2 feels like an album.
That's definitely fair.
And KD3, to me, right now, off the first listen, feels like a full, well-rounded album in Magic form.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe we get too analytical over these Nas albums, but I think right now, in the meantime, I'm with KD3. I'm still kind of split between Magic and KD2 and then KD1. But when I go back and listen to KD1, I'm still like, damn, this joint is crazy still.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Nas, man, the GOAT. I gotta get out of here soon, but it's always a pleasure to break down some Nas music.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I should have recorded our reactions listening.
We should have. Yeah.
It was a brief moment where I thought about it, but I was like, I don't want to look kind of corny recording us listening to the music with no sound.
I mean, we was bugging out over here a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We was tripping. We stopped it a couple of times, had a little conversation about the song, and then went on. It probably would have been a good show.
Lot of scrunchy faces.
Faces. I think this is one of the albums where I made some of my ugliest faces. You know what I'm saying? Just like, yo, what's going? Yeah. First thing I'm gonna do. My brother's sleeping. He got to get up early. I was ready to call my son, like, yo, if you ain't listening, you better listen right now. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? My daughter too. But I know she got to get up early for school. She's in college, but she got to get up early. But I'm gonna hit them all up tomorrow. Like, yo, if y'all didn't listen, y'all better get on it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a long talk with a couple of my friends tomorrow.
Yeah,
at some point.
Yeah, I know my buddy is a Jay-Z fan, and I'm gonna just I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just text him KD3. That's it. I ain't say nothing else. I might text him if I text him that verse, then he's gonna be like, yeah, see, that means that Jay-Z said this, that, and third and got under Nas' skin. So
what you do is you just send him mad other bars. You know what I mean? Just random bars off the album. Like, you can be like, what are you talking about?
Now, how we get one of these guys in the chat? What's going on?
Oh, he snuck in?
Yeah, Jay-Z's the GOAT. Stop it, Tony Crow. How we get one of these guys in the chat?
Somebody left the back door unlocked.
You know what I'm saying? What's going on?
Hey, Jay-Z's
He's mad.
cool.
He's mad. Jay-Z ain't dropping music anymore. So now that Nas is doing what he's doing, Jay-Z fans like, they kind of mad. Because at some point, Jay's going to drop something. He's going to drop something.
Jay too old to be spitting with Nas spitting right. Like Nas is ascended in his career late, so he's able to talk the way he's talking right now.
Right.
Like Jay was already talking like this.
Yeah.
Years ago. For him to talk like it now, it's not gonna be like. I like the way Jay is talking now. He's on an elevated plane.
Yeah. Jay's doing this thing, man.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like in business sense, of course. He's always been that guy, but
Nas is about bars.
He ain't,
about rap.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's taking a little hiatus from dropping. He said he's not retired, but he might drop something here, there, whatever. Mega said he might text back, God did.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but would you want? I guess
that was a crazy verse.
I
ain't go front.
Would you want? And I'll end it with this because they've obviously become good friends, would you want to hear Nas and Jay-Z album? The expectations will be so through the roof. Like they'd have to really focus in on this thing, and
they might
it'd have to be dope, man. Because the expectations are going to be.
I don't think I would, to be honest. I don't think I would. I don't know. Like if they decide to do it, then I guess so, because they both meticulous, right?
Yeah.
But they don't. I don't feel like they've had the best of chemistry through the years to feel like it's not a match made in heaven. You know what I mean? Like, but
like they don't have to go. I don't think they have to go back and forth on bars. Like, you listen to some of the songs, they didn't really go back and forth. They, boom, Jay did his thing, then Nas did the verse.
After hearing the Jay Electronic album featuring Jay-Z,
right?
I think they could make it work, because I think that's the vein it would have to be in,
and I think that's what Jay is here right now as far as making his music too. I think he's kind of in that lane. You know what I mean? His way.
Yeah.
I think they could make it work. You would need the perfect producer.
The problem is, here's the problem. They do that album is for us. Right. It's not for sales. You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's not,
exactly.
So that's why I don't know if they would do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the expectation of the sales, like if that joint flop, now it's a black eye for both of those guys. Where I don't know if that content is gonna be. I wonder what that Jay Electronic album.
But I mean, I think they can come out and just be like, listen, we're doing this one. This one is for the culture. We don't care about. They can right off top. We don't care about sales, this, that, and the third. This is for the culture. You know what I'm saying? And then get busy. I think you can't have Kanye produce it, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because Kanye, like, you got to have a producer that wants the artists to shine, and Kanye wants to be right up there with those guys as far as, it
would have to be Hitboy, to be honest. Like, who else could it be? I would like to hear Jay on a Hitboy.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Not even on a Hitboy track. On a Nas Hitboy track.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. We'll see. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully, you enjoyed just hearing us talking about our initial reaction to the album. Both of us love what we heard. I'm about to, sit back and really listen to it and dig in. When do you want to try to do the full review? I mean, we don't win an hour 19 on this joint already. A full review. Monday.
Monday. There's no game Monday.
I think they play on Sunday at 12, so I don't think there's a game on Monday.
Yeah, so we could do Monday night.
Yeah. All right. I'm just checking. I'm just checking right now to see, if there's a Knicks game or not on Monday. I don't think there is. They play. Right. They play on Tuesday. They play Sunday, then they play Tuesday. So yeah, we can do it on Monday. We
sit right after Queen's Court. We can do it early if you want.
Yeah. We take and we sit with it for this weekend and then do it on Monday. That'd be dope.
I'm with it.
And on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have up the I'm going to have the phone line up so people can call in, so we can get your take on each song. And what we do for those who are new or haven't seen the live reviews, we'll have each song up. We have a little scoring mechanism. So for each song, we give it a score. We have our score, we have the chat score, and then we add it all together to make one score for that song. And then we do that for each song, and then we total up the scores divided by the number of tracks, and then that's the score for the album. So it's a pretty dope process that we do. Sometimes it's long. It could be a 2-hour process. You know what I mean? But yeah, join us for that, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, we got some more videos coming between now and then. So yeah, be on it. We appreciate you guys for being here 2:30 in the morning. You know, King's Disease 3. It's a dope track. Dope album track. It's a dope album. Crazy album. Tony, any thoughts before we get out of here?
Nah, appreciate you, Sim. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the Queen for Dope Soul Sports Talk hitting that 1,000 mark. Salute to that.
For real.
You know what I mean?
But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all. Peace.